Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 3rd of 2022, and we are only getting closer to the official release of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series on May 27th. That's really going to be a big deal for the Star Wars fandom, because it's not only going to bring a return of both Hayden and Ewan, we are also getting a return of Darth Vader as a character in the show. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, everything ranging from what Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been doing with the new universe to what George, John, and Dave are doing with the new Star Wars TV shows and the new Star Wars projects that are currently in development that will be unveiled at this year's celebration, which, by the way, is also in May. It's going to be a very powerful month for Star Wars because we have both the Kenobi series debuting and we have the best celebration in history, at least under Disney's wing. So with that being all done and said, everything ranging from TV shows such as the Ahsoka Tano series, Mando Season 3 and 4, there's been a lot of work being done on all of the new Star Wars projects, be it ones that are in early development phase, or pre-production, or principal photography, or post-production. It doesn't matter. There are over a dozen Star Wars projects in the works at the same exact time that's going to release this year, next year, and beyond. They really want to make sure that the 2020s are going to be very powerful when it comes to Star Wars TV shows, and especially even the new Star Wars films that are also being pre-planned as we speak. So with that being said now, alright, everything ranging from what Jon Favreau has said before in the past of how Mando Season 3 and 4 is going to be very Force-driven. You know, the rest of the Mandalorian, or the Mandoverse, if you will, is going to be very Force-related. And that's one thing to look forward to. However, with, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm now creating new Star Wars TV shows and movies that will be unveiled at Celebration this year and next year, Favreau and Filoni are actively working on the Ahsoka Tano series for Disney+. Now, it's described, however, that behind the scenes, many changes are being applied to the Star Wars universe by Bob Chapek. Recently, it's said that actor Pedro Pascal was let go and essentially fired from one of the new Star Wars projects for Disney+ that will be announced later this year that will feature characters like Bo-Katan, the Armorer, Tar Vizsla in the form of flashbacks, and much more. This is described to be a Mandalore-focused Star Wars TV series that is focused on the story of Bo-Katan and other Mandalorians and other characters in the Star Wars world that Pedro Pascal was going to be attached to originally. However, due to creative decisions and differences by Disney and how they wanted Pedro to be involved in a certain way, Pedro was being overly demanding about how his character would be used in the show, which led to problems behind the scenes that put Disney in a forced position to fire Pedro Pascal from the Bo-Katan series that is set to be a short, limited series of herself and other Mandalorian characters. Now, I don't know if you guys are a fan of Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. I think that she did a brilliant job in the show. She really does make sure to stay as accurate as possible to the animated version of Bo-Katan. One thing about Pedro Pascal is that he seems to be very determined on how he wants his character to be. We already know that there's a lot of problems with The Mandalorian Season 4 when it comes to Pedro Pascal as an actor and how he's demanding his helmet to be off most of the time because he looked at Boba Fett as a series and he got very jealous over the fact that Tamara Morrison got to have all that face time and he did not. And he needs to understand that Bo-Katan is not or should I say Boba Fett is not a traditional Mandalorian. He is not essentially a real Mandalorian, you know, in the sense that we see Din Djarin. It's a different story. So Din Djarin as a character, makes sense, and Pedro Pascal's got to realize that if he wants to be the real Mandalorian, he's got to keep that helmet on, at least in the ways that he believes. So, moving from this, alright, now so far Disney is aimed to make the series 5 episodes long, with each episode being 1 hour each, just about. However, Pedro Pascal was supposed to pop in many times as Din Djarin, that led to complications of what Pedro wanted for his character in the show. So, essentially, it was going to be very similar to how the Book of Boba Fett was treated, where Din would actually appear multiple times at some point in time in the actual show, and to better assist some of the supporting characters. Now, obviously, you know, that was a great addition in the Book of Boba Fett. I really do love the fact that John and Dave made that call. But with the Bo-Katan-oriented series, they wanted Din Djarin to really pop in more than that of how he did in the Book of Boba Fett. And that was going to be more of a major role. And now he's no longer a part of this. Now, the Bo-Katan series, that's going to just be set in present time in this post-episode 6 era, if you will. That's also going to bounce back to the events of Tar Vizsla many years ago. The Mandalorian and Jedi, right? So that's another thing to really be aware of, is that they want to take advantage of the character of Tar Vizsla. Now, this new series is not planned to drop until sometime in 2024, and will begin filming around late 23. The new series is set to get a Boba Fett treatment that focuses on Bo-Katan in present time, and will involve flashbacks that will actually dive into the origin of the Darksaber. The main purpose of this story is to create an in-depth plot about how the Darksaber was created, as well as Bo-Katan's story. Lucasfilm wants to make sure that this will cater to many fans who enjoy both Mandalorian lore and Jedi lore as well, that will focus on Tar Vizsla. However, as of now, Pedro has been let go from the series in regards to his overly demanding behavior, of his screen time and creative decisions, of how his character would be used and appeared in the show. Now, this led to a very tough time over at Disney for a number of weeks, as the show is supposed to be a post-Mandalorian Season 4 TV series that will be combined with flashback sequences. So that's another thing to be aware of, is that this is going to be post-Mando Season 4 when it comes to the Bo-Katan story, but the flashbacks involving Tar Vizsla goes back and dates back many, many years. And that is actually the Mandalorian that also became a Jedi who created the Darksaber. Moving on. Now, so far, other characters like Ahsoka are said to be attached to the show and the series as well. However, Din Djarin has been taken out from the season, or the series, and that Disney is already pre-planning another post-Mando Season 4 show that will feature Din Djarin by actor Pedro Pascal, if everything goes according to plan, of course, for the series. Now, the series is also going to feature the return of Grogu in a very big way for the show, and for the fandom to witness with the Bo-Katan series that will change aspects of the lore. Now, here's the thing about this, alright, some fans would go ahead and argue that maybe they're doing too many Mandalorian or Bounty Hunter-esque Star Wars TV shows. I, however, have no issues with this, because they're being very smart about it. You realize what they're doing, right? When you look at Mando Season 2, they threw in Luke Skywalker at the tail end of the show to kind of make the fans that really like that Force and Jedi lore very happy, and they did that even more with the Book of Boba Fett. They're going to do it again with the Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, and they're also going to do it with the Bo-Katan series, focusing on Tar Vizsla, who is both a Mandalorian and a Jedi, who created the Darksaber. So that's a very smart move on their part. I really like the way that they're going with this quote-unquote Mandoverse. And I think that John and Dave really have their heads on straight. And I think that Disney, at the end of the day, you know, maybe it was the right call, maybe it was the wrong call to fire Pedro from this Bo-Katan series, per se, that's going to focus on these different times and different eras. But overall, guys, you know, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.